The Week 10 finale, great NFC matchup here with the Green Bay Packers hosting the Philadelphia Eagles as 2.5-point home favorites, total 44.5. We are going to preview this game. We'll talk about what you should be betting for this thing. We'll talk about Philly picking up Jalen Phillips, that embarrassing loss for Green Bay against Carolina, and much more. Ninja here with Tony Farmer. Welcome to the channel. If you could, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you do not do so already. Let us know in the comments section what you guys are betting for Eagles Packers. Tony, trade deadline week. Talk to me about the Eagles picking up Jalen Phillips from Miami. What do you think this guy brings to the Eagles? And does this move the needle at all for Philly as a candidate to repeat at the Super Bowl?
It absolutely moves the needle. I mean, the Eagles were already strong with the interior of their defensive line with Jalen Carter and those guys. The weakness all season long, the biggest concern has been the edge defender position. So not only do they bring in Carter, then they get Brandon Graham out of retirement. They'll see if he has a little bit of juice left. And then former first-round pick Nolan Smith comes back from injury. He hasn't played since week 3. So suddenly what was a weakness for the Eagles is starting to look like a strength. And they bring in a guy who's very enthusiastic to play for them. I don't know if you saw what he said and what he was quoted as earlier in the press, but he said, "There's literally no other team I'd rather play for." So this dude's stoked to be playing for the Eagles. And hey, I don't blame him when you're coming from the Miami Dolphins. But he's had 3 sacks this season, 17 tackles. Not a great run defender. Pro Football Focus has him at the 51.1 run grade. But in Philadelphia, I think they can put him in positions where he's on the field mostly on third downs and he's not getting exposed for his bad run defense. So one thing, though, that you have to talk about with Phillips is his injury history. He's great when he's healthy. Is he going to be healthy in Philadelphia? That remains to be seen. Before this season, he had only played 12 total games the last 2 seasons combined.
Speaking of being exposed, the Green Bay Packers are coming off an embarrassing home loss to the Carolina Panthers last week. So if you had a fraud meter, Tony, where do the Green Bay Packers rank on the Tony Farmer fraud meter? Or maybe they're where you thought they would be.
I'm going to give them like on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe like a 4.5. Instead of the word fraud, I'm going to use the word inconsistent with them because they did pick up impressive wins against the Steelers and the Lions this year. That Commanders win was pretty impressive because that was back when the Commanders were healthy and had all their pieces. So I don't think they're a fraud. They look really good one week and they look really terrible the next week. Another concern that I have with them since 2023, they're 6-10-1 in games decided by 3 points or less. 2-1 this season in games decided by 3 points or less. So I'm seeing Jordan Love, a guy out there who's making some questionable throws in clutch situations. I don't think he has that clutch gene.
That game against Carolina, I mean, that was a display of bad throwing and bad decision-making by Jordan Love. And another takeaway from that game, Tony, was the loss of Tucker Kraft. Like, who picks up the slack for Green Bay in the pass-catching department now that that safety net is gone for Jordan Love?
Yeah, it's a very, very big loss for Green Bay. Kraft was in the midst of a huge breakout season. I mean, he was 1 touchdown away from his career-high touchdown number after 7 games this year. So I think this is a situation where the most obvious answer to your question is the right answer to your question, and it's his backup, Luke Musgrave. These 2 guys were drafted in the same draft class, and people forget Musgrave was the starter over Kraft. Musgrave is faster. He had better combine numbers. And Kraft took over for Musgrave when Musgrave got injured and became the starter. And now maybe Musgrave can return the favor here. You know, a lot of teams have their number 2 tight end. It's a blocking tight end, someone that can't really receive. That's not the case with Musgrave. He can put up numbers if he's put in a similar situation to what Kraft was put in. And I think he can be schemed open in this offense, when you've got several wide receivers to have to account for. So I think Musgrave can come in and be somebody you want to look for on his player prop numbers these first couple games.
This is obviously a big matchup in the NFC. Let me ask you this. Is this a game that could be won or lost inside the red zone? Philadelphia 3rd in red zone defense, Tony, with Green Bay coming off a game where they were just 1 of 5 in the red zone. The Packers ranked 23rd defensively in the red zone, while the Eagles score touchdowns on 85% of their trips to the red zone, which is the best in the league. Is this where the game is going to be won or lost here, or maybe there's a different element here between these 2 teams that you identify?
Yeah, these are great nuggets from you. And then with the Eagles getting these toys back on defense, theoretically that red zone defense is going to be even stronger for this game. Another area that I might look at is how does Green Bay's defense hold up on third and fourth downs. This goes back to that inconsistency piece that I mentioned earlier. Against the Steelers, 2 of 11 in holding the Steelers when the Steelers were on third and fourth down. Against the Panthers, 6 of 12. Carolina had 2 big fourth down conversions early in that game, and it kind of set the tone. So I'm curious here how this Packers defense is going to hold up on third down.
Get to your picks in a moment here. But folks, if you are looking for a little extra edge in your daily sports betting, you've got to check out Prop Professor. And to celebrate the start of the NBA season, you can get it at 50% off for the first month. Prop Professor drops hundreds of plus EV bets every single day, giving you a real shot at finding long-term profit instead of just guessing. And for this Monday Nighter, a couple of small plus EV plays still available. Over 2.5 touchdowns in the first half, 1.3% plus EV at plus 124 at DraftKings. Just a sample of what Prop Professor offers its users. You can sort through plays across the NFL, through college football, through the NBA, and plenty more, all backed by data and not vibes. It's got tools for arbitrage betting. It's got a fantasy lineup optimizer, so you can cover all of your angles. So if you want to give it a try, use the promo code OddShark50 at checkout. And remember, 50% off for that first month. The OddShark computer, Tony, predicting a 10-point Packers win here, around 27-17. So a Packers cover. And right at that total of 44.5, basically, again, we've got the Packers inside a field goal as 2.5-point favorites here, which is a very interesting line, I must say. But what do you like here, Tony?
I got the Eagles team total over 22.5 plus 102 over at DK. This Eagles offense is just rolling right now. They've scored 66 points in their last 2 games. Nobody can stop the tush push. So give me the Eagles to score at least 23 in this one on Monday Night Football.